Today's heat review, my 50th victory. Just want to go over my 50th victory in Heat Pedal to the Metal. It's a pretty interesting game of this. So it started out pretty interesting in the draft. Let me make the map bigger, I guess. So I'm going to be drafting third because we have a great tactician who we've seen plenty of times on my channel play pretty well. Control, I think, is new. And I might have played against Grumpy Me. Sounds like a name I've heard before. Great Tactician goes first. They're obviously going to take this four-wheel drive plus, right? Lots of boosting in this one here. Okay. Then I forget what Control takes. Oh, they took the gas pedal 4. Pretty good card. Does take a heat though, so it's my turn. I'm like, oh my god, my favorite card's out here. I have to take it. And the track conditions are not the greatest. I mean, we have no cooldown, but it doesn't take effect. We've lost the stress, extra heat, -1 speed, and a useless free boost. You know, this free boost is pretty much never used if it's here. So I'm going to take the gas pedal. Okay. So I was really hoping for was this would still be around. But it was taken immediately along with a body 3, which lets you discard 2 stress. So I said I'll just take the 1-5 break for now. We'll see what we get in the next draft. That was more of a defensive play. Make sure nobody else got that. I mean, a 5 movement on this straightaway here is pretty good, you know. Choose a body card and a heat because there wasn't much left. Okay, second round of the draft. I'm going to go second here. I really like these tires. I really like the wings. And I already have a plus to all the boosts for that pedal. So I end up grabbing that, right? Like this is still here. Like probably shouldn't have been. I take it. Now it's going to kill my chances of getting this. So I might have to take that 1-5, but I end up lucking out here. Great Tactician takes the turbocharger with, he also has that plus 4-wheel drive. So that's a very scary combination right there. So at this point, I'm just like, please, just give me my suspension. Just let me get it here. And it's there for me. I get rid of the 1-5 brake. All right, we start. So I have a pretty good setup to go 9, so I can get right to here. So that's what I do. I like to go 1 before this turn so that people can get in front of me and I can then maybe get a little bit of slipstream off this turn here, you know. But how it works out is the legend card just tucks in behind us. And then Control slipstreams to block off this other this other space so that nobody really can slipstream ahead of us, I thought, until the great tactician does this, right? I would just call him a tactician, right? Yeah, go ahead and slip right by everybody with that 12. So I'm looking here, I'm thinking, I don't think anybody's really going to go 6, but I was wrong. Because of this heat, normally like deters people from going extra. So I had 2 chances to get people to go 5, right? So I'm going to use this suspension to get an extra slipstream, and I'm using my 4. Grumpy Me does go 5. Pretty bad for him. So I can get the slipstream, get into first place. I made a mistake there. I accidentally discarded my suspension. I forgot to click on it. Not the greatest moment of this race for me, but it's not something that will totally destroy any chance I have. So Control gets next to me. I really don't like that so much, because I really want to get through this turn and try to leave people behind this line. That's why I go 4 here. It doesn't work out that way. I don't know if people who have played with me before have figured out some of the things I'm doing. Obviously not going to use the gas pedal here, right? So I would say what defines this race a lot for me was able to read my opponents and what they're going to do. I think we are doing that to each other. So you'll see here as Tactician comes around, slipstreams me there. I'm going to go through my thought process here 1 second. Now, Grumpy Me tried to use his wings just to get up to the line and slipstream, but he can't do that. So instead, I think he uses his adrenaline here. Oh, he can slipstream. I'm sorry, I forgot he went short there. So he's right behind me. Okay, so my thought is, Control has 5. This thing's gonna give away everything here. If he goes to here, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's gonna be 3 heat for him. He might do that, which will put me in a bad position, right? But just for some reason, I didn't think he wanted to spend all his heat. I don't know this player. I don't know if he likes burning heat or not. So I took a chance here and just went for myself. And luckily for me and for Tactician, he only moves 3 because he used the stress. I think he was maybe trying to get a stress out of his hand, but we only have 2 stress in our deck. So it's not as bad as some other times when you can get stuck with 3 stress and a couple heat and then you can't really do anything. So I go 4. I'm able to get through the turn also, pay 2 heat. And look at this setup I have. So I have a 4 stress, 4-wheel drive with the bonus to all plus symbols. And my gas pedal has the bonus to all my plus symbols. This will give you a demonstration how this is like the weakest it could be. It could be much more powerful. I mean, I didn't hit the jackpot with it, but each time it was just good enough to get me where I needed to be. So Grumpy decides to slipstream. I can understand wanting to get through these turns. The only person that has a lot of heat is Control, right? Stays in second gear. I thought maybe he was doing that to conserve heat. But I don't know what he had in his hand, so I can't really say why he only played 2 cards there and stayed in second gear. It could have been a mistake, I don't know, to do that. But once again, that's, you know, I don't have all the knowledge that he had at the time. Great Tactician plays triple boost and 7 total. Gets to there. So I use all those boosts, right? I get a 2, a 1, and a 1, right? Looks pretty bad, doesn't it? We'll just do it turn by turn, I guess, here. Right? There's my 4. I use the heat to boost. I get a 2. Not great. But because I have these cards, I just moved 4 there. Move 1. And moved 4 more. So that combination right there is very powerful, even if you draw bad cards. So that's a reoccurring thing here in this game. Is I was drawing bad bonuses, bad pluses, I should say, boosts. But because of those cards, I could kind of like negate that bad draw, kind of. Okay, so after that move, I now have 4s and 3s in my hand. I got my suspension back. I think I keep it in third gear because I don't want to have to downshift. We have to wait for the legend card to go. So we'll look to see what happens here. Yep. So I just play these 3, which is pretty good movement. It's 11. And I'm satisfied with that for now because it puts me in range to get to here. I see this. I'm like, ooh, that's not great. But I know there's one less stress in the deck, so I'm okay with it. So what I do is, well, let's go through everybody's turn. I'm like getting ahead of myself because this was such a fun race here. A lot of back and forth. Control's trying to get back into it here, so. Okay, I just play the 2 3s because I want to cool down one of these heat. And then what I do is I boost. So I want to be over here somewhere so I can get through this turn easily. So. Why is it doing it one at a time? There we go. I get a 4, so it puts me in a really good position here. I'm not up against the line, but I'm also close enough to get through it pretty easily. That's what I hope for in those situations. Grumpy Me is right behind me. Thought maybe they'd boost here, but they didn't because obviously they're afraid of going through there, but I don't blame them for not wanting to do that. And then Tactician gets even with me here. I would much rather him be in front of me, but I'm still in a pretty decent position. So, looking at this hand, I'm going to end up shifting into first gear. from second, and then getting rid of all that heat. I use this boost because I want to get rid of it. I don't want it in my hand at the moment. I would rather have it over here somewhere. Okay, I get a 1. So I get rid of the 3 heat. And then I boost. And get a 2. Do the turn though, that's all that really matters here. So I still have my suspension. And I can then use it for slipstream, obviously. Tactician was expecting me to go 5, flies past me. Unfortunately, I do help Grumpy get through this turn, kind of. No, he actually goes around me without needing my help. And then slipstreams, right? Not the greatest for me to have him up there, but it is what it is at this point. Controls just lagging behind right now, but it is Italy map, so we have 3 laps. It's not like they're completely out of the race here. Grumpy moves 4, just like I did the first time. Pulls down 2 heat. Pays the 2 heat to get through that turn, so they're at 0 heat. Tactician goes 4. I'm like, oh no, I think I might have lucked out here. Right? So I go 3. Did I do this again? Cool down a heat. Oh yeah, I boost and get a 3, right? So I'm at 6. Yeah, 6. So I can't do anything here. So I have to hold my ground here. Put my suspension back on top so I have that extra slipstream still. And getting through this corner was the tricky part, right? I'll talk about it as the other cars go. So I know Tactician likes to take an extra movement. So I go 3, but I'm also concerned if he goes 2. If he goes 2, that's really bad for me. Because I'll go past him and won't be able to slipstream down to here, which is what I really need to do. Because I got to catch up with Grumpy. So Tactician goes 3. And this is really good racing from pretty much everybody in this race. You know, nobody's really making bad decisions that I can see. The only question I had was here, but that could have been based on what cards they had in their hand at the time. So me going 3 also, I could slipstream. I'm right behind Grumpy now. He has 2 heat. So it's just a matter of, do I think he'll spend an extra heat to go through this turn? This was not my best read, but it doesn't hurt me at all. So I think he will spend it, like I know I would in that position. And you see Control's already caught up with everybody, even though they are behind. So Grumpy only goes 2. Like I thought they would go 3. I'm going 3 definitely with my slipstream. That's the great part of this is I can get slipstream almost on every turn if I'm behind, you know. It helps me like get free movement constantly. Control just decides to go forward for some reason. Like they could have went 2 and been fine. But once again, they could have maybe not had the cards to do that. So yep, I go 3. I'm through the turn. I can do my slipstream, which is the 3. So I'm in front again. I put this back on top because I don't want to lose it, even though it's not the best card for me right now. Excuse me, I'm out of Kleenex, so I have to use paper towel today. Gotta get to the store here. Tactician will actually move a couple. So he's behind, but we see like that's not the end of this, you know, race. We've been catching up to each other constantly. So I just go and do the 4-wheel drive with a boost in the 4. Even though I had 2 stress in my hand, I didn't use the extra stress, and there's a reason for that. I want to get my gas pedal back, right? So I save a boost for it, right? So I'm trying to get more consistent movement with it this time, instead of getting it all at once. And I have a heat, so I can use a boost at the end of my turn. So I'll use the stress. I think I go into 4th gear here, actually. I think I do both 3s in the... No, I go into 3rd gear. Stay in 3rd gear. Boost and the 2 3s. So Tactician gets to the turn, and you'll see next turn why I was so nervous about the cards he drafted. Alright, so there's my turn. I get to go 10. I boost, get a 2. I use the gas pedal. Move 1, then use its power to go an extra 2. I'm right in range again of this turn, kind of. Not perfect, I would rather be here, obviously, but it's not a bad position. Okay, so Grumpy. They go 11. Control catches up, slipstreams 3 spaces forward. That's almost as good as a 4 boost, right? So here we go. Plays. I thought he played the... Yeah, he did. Oh, I thought he played his turbo and that together. He did the same exact thing as he did before. Could have swore he did that, where he played both at the same turn. I'm just going to move 4, once again, to get rid of heat, right? And maybe get these guys to pass me, so that this suspension is useful again. Control gets next to me. I'm not really happy about that at all. But Grumpy Me kind of catches us here. I think. Nope. Okay, here's was. So 8 and 4 boosts. That's pretty scary. There's 19 spaces right there. Uses adrenaline, and then like a smart player, does not slipstream us as much as I wanted it to happen. I just go 4 once again. Get rid of the heat. Nothing fancy, right? Control does a 1 and then uses gas pedal to do the 5. It's a pretty slick maneuver to get rid of heat also. So, you know, our heat situation's pretty good, but you know, here between these 3 players. Grumpy's still in it though. I mean, he's gonna have to spend a lot to get through this turn. So, at least I thought that, but then I forgot he had wings. So he can move 7 here, which he does. So I'm now in 4th place after this. And you would think that's bad, right? You're like, oh, well, everybody's past you. This is actually a great situation, and I'll show you why. It gives me flexibility again, right? So I can move 5 now, because like I would have to move 6 here, right? If I think somebody's going to stop here. And then slipstream, right? What I can do now is I can go 5 and see where everybody's at. And if they didn't make the line, then I can use them to catapult myself through the turn with slipstream. So Tactician decides just to go for it and spend all their heat to get through there to try to get us caught on this side. Because of this move, Control goes 5. And he's stuck behind the line, right? So if I wasn't in the position I was at, I would have had to play 6. But because I'm in 4th position and I get that adrenaline, I can play 5 safely, right? And we're all going to use Control to get through this turn. But I can go 3, so I'll be right next to Tactician. Which, believe it or not, is a very complicated decision of what's going to happen here. I decided to go 4 or 3. The reason why is I think Tactician's the type of player who would slow down to let us zip by him. So let me go 3 here. And if I don't get it, oh well, I've lost a race at that point in time. Probably everybody's going to get around me, right? But I'm like, let me take a chance. I think that he would stop here. And I was proven right. He stops 1 space forward than I thought he'd be. Which is just as good. Because all I need to do is slipstream him right now. So I go 3. So that was a point where I was estimating how slow he would go, right? I didn't think he would go here because then people could slipstream from here through, right? Where it's harder for people to do it from here, right? So if he's here, somebody can only slipstream 2, they only get to here. But I had my suspension. Now, I did make one mistake here. I did redraw my suspension. I mean, at this point, it's really not all that useful. Grumpy slipstreams through also. But he is out of heat, where I have 1 heat. So Control's still behind, but I think they do some weird stuff to get caught up. So they moved 5 and then went through both of these turns and spent all the heat they had just to get through there. So I have 2 players that have spent all their heat that are in the final stretch with me, where I have 1. So I don't have my gas pedal, so I'm going to wait 1 turn before using these to see if I can get my gas pedal. So I just use my 3 threes right here. Grumpy me stays in 2nd gear again. Yeah, don't know why. I go 9. Oh, I shouldn't have clicked that button. Okay. Discard the suspensions. It's no longer needed. And look, I get this lovely setup here. I can go into 4th gear. I play the 4, the 2 boost, 4-wheel drive. Then I can boost again and then use the bonuses from these to get to the end here. The problem is I'm concerned that Tactician might have their big combo, right? Because you'll see here, like, he decides to go like fast through this turn so he can get closer to us. So I'm like, well, if he gets exactly what he wants, he might catch up with us. I mean, he did go 19 last time, right? So that would put him at like 15, right? So maybe with better boost, he could get across the line and pass me here. I wasn't sure what everybody else had either at this point. But Control can't make it. He has no heat to boost or anything. So that's the importance of keeping heat, right? And of course, I get another 4. Another 4 out of this, all these boosts. Right? So I go there, like, finally get a 4. So each one of these bonuses is 4 spaces right now. So I'm able to cross the line just because of that. So Grumpy can I go 9. Tactician plays everything he has to catch up, which unfortunately he discards his turbocharger when doing that. But he still goes 18 spaces, right? So, I mean, it's pretty good. And he slipstreams, so he made it all the way back with those 2 cards, basically. But yeah, there's my my 50th win. Tactician just goes forward, right? Control gets just enough where he can cool down here and then boost around Tactician, unfortunately for them. Grumpy also puts a scare in everybody into Tactician because he boosts also and gets a 2 but doesn't pass. Doesn't pass him. So there it is. 50th game. That draft of getting those 2 cards together. And all the cards were useful, actually. That suspension, it helped me out so much by getting that extra movement here and there. That's probably what won me the game if you think about it in the end. Because it happened like 3 or 4 times. and I think I was only a few across the line here, so that might have been the difference, right? So if you like this this talk about strategy and heat, the content I put out, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments about the race, or if there's any races even that you've run that you want me to review on the channel, like maybe you had a really great race you want me to go ahead and review, just please let me know. You can message me in BGA. I could take a look at the race, and if I think it's a good race, we could probably put it on the channel if you want to. But yeah, please like, share, and subscribe if you can, and I appreciate any support I get. Thank you.